Hey there. Welcome to the Frameworks of Focus podcast. This is a show for creators, entrepreneurs, and builders. Here we talk about how to stay focused, master your attention, and get the right things done so you can do your great work. In the last episode, I shared my story about how I got my first job and the journey my ability to focus took in order to get there. If you haven't watched it yet, I'll put a link down below that you can click on. The main key there was that our ability to focus is predicated on us feeling a strong sense of connection to a great purpose. The stronger our sense of purpose in what we are doing, the greater our ability to focus will be, because a strong purpose makes all resistance melt away. With a strong purpose, I was able to maintain 9 weeks of complete focus, working 12 to 16 hours a day, learning to code, and getting ready for that first job. Today, I want to talk about what happened next. I got into my new job making $60,000 a year. We still had a lot of problems. We still had a lot of financial issues, but we were able to finally breathe a little sigh of relief. We had income, money was coming in, things were good. The focus high from the boot camp carried on for a few more months, but eventually I got accustomed to where I was, and frankly, I got complacent. I was making enough money for us to pay rent, to buy groceries, to buy diapers for our baby, to make our debt payments, and occasionally go out on a date. I started to slip back into my unfocused, distracted habits, browsing social media, playing video games, and not really going anywhere with my life except for just doing my job. My first performance review at my job came around, and I had done well enough in the 6 months or so that I had been there that I was making some contributions, I was supporting my team well enough, and I got pretty average marks across the board on the performance review. It was good enough to get my promised bonus of a couple $1,000s, but it was not enough for me to get a raise. Around this time, as I was browsing social media one day, someone had posted a link to a video from a guy named Darren Hardy. He does these daily videos called Darren Daily, and if you aren't familiar with them, I highly recommend them. I still listen to them every day, and they're excellent. But in those videos, he shares lessons, wisdom, and tips to help you be better every day. I watched the video, I liked it, and I signed up for his mailing list and started getting the video emailed to me every morning. I would watch it, occasionally talk about it with my wife, and I started to make some small changes in my life from the things that I was learning. Now, at this point in my life, I was still about 100 pounds overweight. We were renting out 2 upstairs rooms from my in-laws townhome, and I was over $60,000 in debt from a college degree that I hadn't finished. Watching these videos from Darren Hardy made me realize that I needed to make some changes in how I operated day to day if I wanted to get anywhere in my life, and there were a few things that I did. One of the principles I had learned was the importance of inputs. So I signed up for an Audible account and used my monthly credit to start getting self-development audiobooks to listen to. The first one I did was The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, and I would listen to it while driving and while going to the gym. The second thing I did was to begin changing my exercise and eating habits. My little daughter was starting to crawl up and down stairs, and I would get winded just walking up and down the stairs following her. I realized that if I wanted to be at her wedding and not die of a heart attack in my 40s or 50s, I needed to be in better shape. So I got a gym membership to a gym near my work and started going every morning at 5 a.m. before work, listening to personal development audiobooks while I was working out. And the third thing I did was to get really good training. After listening to Darren Daily for a few months, I learned about a course that he taught and still teaches called Insane Productivity. It was around $1,500 to buy the course, which at the time was a ton of money for me and my wife. But I really strongly believed that it would help me become the focused and hardworking person I wanted to become. The free Darren Daily was already having such an incredible impact on me and helping me make big changes in my life that I figured the course would be even better. I talked with my wife, and we used my small bonus from that year to buy the course. I went through the course. I started implementing some of the things I learned about how to be more productive and about how to build better habits that were in line with my goals, and it worked. My productivity at work skyrocketed. I got a 10% raise, which was worth 4 times the cost of the course, and I made a big dent in losing the 100 pounds that I wanted to lose. I was feeling great, and I set my sights on the next goal I wanted to achieve: moving out of my in law's townhome and buying a home for my family. I had the training I needed to keep doing well at work, I had good habits and an increasing income. I sat down with my wife, we did some math, and figured out that if we wanted to move into our own home, I needed to be making $15,000 a year more than I currently was, for a total of around $80,000. I also needed to be debt free, and so we got our budget in order. We started putting as much extra money as we could into paying off debt, and I kept working at increasing my income at work. And to be honest, it didn't feel great the whole time. Most of it was really hard, and being in the middle of it, it was hard to see progress. It felt like the debt was not moving down as fast as I wanted. Every pound I lost felt like a battle, and I was getting more and more antsy living with my in-laws, wanting to get out and be on my own. But eventually, I started to see things fall into place. I got one student loan paid off, and when I didn't have that monthly payment anymore, I put the money from that payment towards another, and then that one got paid off a little bit faster than the first. My debt payments started falling off faster and faster, and the momentum built up. I also started to see real results from my weight loss, and it was enough that others had started noticing the results as well. And people would comment on it, and that would motivate me to do more and to work harder. I remember 3 things happened within about 4 months of each other. First, I hit my 100-pound weight loss goal, and I was able to fit back into the suit that I'd gotten married in before gaining the 100 pounds. Second, I made my final debt payment on my student loans. I no longer had student loans, we owned our cars outright, and we were debt-free. And then finally, in March of 2019, I got a raise that brought my salary up to $80,389 per year. We had made it, we'd hit our goals, and we bought and moved into our first home 2 months later in May. So from this multi-year experience, looking back, I can see how having a strong purpose, the desire to provide something better for my family, helped me to stay focused and make sacrifices over a period of multiple years. However, on top of that, I learned the importance of inputs and building good habits for sustained focus. To achieve this new goal and to reach a higher level environment, I needed to become a new person. I needed to change my identity. And that happens by changing the way that I see the world and operate day to day. I also learned the importance of investing in high-quality training for myself to jumpstart my growth. A burning hot purpose is great motivation in the beginning, but it dies out over time if it isn't fed with good habits, good inputs, and measurable progress. So, I want to encourage you to do an input review. Look through your browser history for the last couple of days, look at all the websites you visited, and then identify which ones fully support your goals and focus and which ones detract from them. Then I want you to look at the apps on your phone. Which apps consistently provide positive inputs and which ones provide detracting inputs? And now look at the audio you've been listening to and do the same thing. Which of these audios are distractions and which of them help you further your goals? The first step to change is awareness. Find ways to block out the negative inputs and to amplify the positive. And a tip is don't go looking for positive inputs in a negative input place. Don't try and find inspiration in the news, and don't scroll social media for motivation. There are plenty of great places to find positive inputs, and I encourage you to look for them. Darren Daly's a great example. It's only positive inputs in your inbox every day. But I encourage you to go and find those positive inputs and incorporate them into your life and block out the negative.